everyone, and welcome to Real Yoga. My name is Hanna, and today I'm going to show you how to draw yoga stick figures for some hip opening asana variations. So I'm going to start with Malasana, which is a pretty common hip opener and actually one of my favorite ones to draw. So you start with your head up top and a vertical line down for the torso, and then you want to think about this as if you were drawing a frog or some sort of animal that's sitting down. So we want to take a very extreme angle all the way up and then bring that line down almost back in towards that midline, and you have your foot sticking out to the side, and then it's simply the same on the other side. So if you ever drew a cat or something when you were a kid, it maybe looks something like this. And then a common arm variation for Malasana is Anjali Mudra at the heart, and I always draw that represented by a triangle. So these ones are your elbows and they're your hands together at your heart. So there's a little Malasana. The next one I'm going to show you is Skandasana, which is very similar to Malasana, but of course one of our legs is extended instead. So once again, same deal, head up top, long vertical line down, and then this time we're only going to draw our little frog leg on one side and the other leg is extended. I like to draw the toes pointing up, and then you can have the same arm variation here by simply drawing that triangle. So here you are in Skandasana. All right, so the next pose drawing is a little more complex, although the pose itself is maybe one of our inverted commas easier hip opening poses. So we're going to draw a reclined pigeon pose, which is sometimes called a figure 4 pose. So start by having your head obviously on the floor, very reclined, and then a horizontal line now for your torso. So for the base leg, I'm going to just simply draw a 90-degree angle, and I always like to draw the foot extended here because we're in hip openers and we want to keep those knees safe. So this is the base of this shape. And then this is where the fore part comes in. So we're going to draw an angle towards the head and then back in, and then I'm going to kick that little foot up again. And from however you're watching this video, for me, you can see that this sort of makes a sideways 4. And if you turn it upside down, it would look like a 4. And then here, we're simply going to take the hands behind the other leg. So that's your reclined pigeon pose. The next one I'm going to show you is a down dog variation where we can open the hips, so 3-legged dog with a hip opener. So for down dog, I always start at the butt all the way down to the back foot. And then because we're going to do a 3-legged dog with a bent knee variation, you want to start at where the knee joint would be and draw this diagonal line all the way down. So that's your hands. And then you can come back up here and draw the bend. So, and I always put the head about halfway down. So this is our 3-legged dog with a hip opening variation. And then from 3-legged dog, let's go into lizard pose, shall we? So there are 2 ways of drawing lizard, or that I like to draw lizard, and one is with the back knee up, and one is with the back knee down. So for the back knee up, we're simply going to draw a long diagonal line from the foot all the way up to the base of the neck, and then draw that head at the top. For the front leg, you want to draw another right angle. You can pop that foot in. And then to indicate that this is a lizard pose and not a lunge, I usually draw both of my hands down into the inside of that front leg. Whereas if this was a low lunge, I would generally only put the one hand down. And that's how I identify between the two. For a lizard pose variation with the back knee dropped, you, instead of drawing that diagonal line all the way up, you start with a horizontal line and then take your diagonal to the base of the neck. Same deal, 90-degree angle at the front, pop that foot in, and then both hands down to indicate we're in lizard pose. Nice. All right, so here we go towards the ultimate hip opener, pigeon pose. And pigeon pose is a little odd to draw because our kind of legs are at strange angles, and you have to really think about how you are in this shape to draw it in a way that kind of makes sense, or at least that's what I found. So here's how I draw pigeon. I start from the back foot, and I'm essentially going to draw a kind of swooping line all the way up and pop my head on top. And then I'm going to send my arms out in front, so sort of looks a bit like a cobra-ish pose already. And then if you think about your leg in pigeon, generally you have your knee placed behind your wrist, and then your foot comes back in towards your body. So start at the hip point and then draw a line towards your hand, and then you want to draw your foot coming all the way back in. Sorry, I got a wonky bit of my paper there. So this is pigeon, or this is how I draw pigeon. And of course, you know that there are different ways of having your upper body and your back leg and all sorts of things in pigeon pose. But I tend to think, at least for me, if I see this, I know my students are about to move in towards pigeon, and I can build on my variations for how we're feeling on the day. All right, so final one, Gomukhasana, probably the most complex and strange one to draw. It's a complicated pose to be in, it's a complicated pose to draw. So we'll see how we go. Draw your head first and a vertical line for your torso. And then for Gomukhasana, you sort of want these two like little triangulish lines for your legs. So I'm going to start somewhat off to the left here. Draw a small diagonal, that's my knee, and then that's my foot going out to the side. And then for the bottom leg, I'm starting the opposite direction. So I've got my knee going in one way and my foot going in the other. So this is sort of what my Gomukhasana legs look like. And I mean, Gomukhasana is quite a complex pose, so you can find whatever works for you here. And then if you want to add the arms, here I just do my elbow to shoulder up top, and then send my hand off to the side. And then for the back arm, I also do elbow down and then send my hand to connect together. So here you are in your full version of Gomukhasana. All right, so those are some of the hip opening poses as stick figures. I hope that this video helps you to create a really cool visual for your sequences. And if you have any requests for other asana drawings, please let me know in the comment section below. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.